Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 21st episode of Battles and Voices. I'm Lathika, and I'm the founder and host.
And I'm Kimda, and I'm the co-host. Together, we serve on the executive team of Vitals and Voices.
Battles and Voices amplifies the stories of students, mentors, and professionals shaping the future of healthcare.
Now, please welcome our guest, Pablo.
Pablo, thank you so much for joining us on Battles and Voices. We're really excited to have you here today. To start off, could you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. Well, my name is Pablo. I'm a first generation college student. I'm in my sophomore year at GW in Washington, D.C. And yeah, I'm on the pre-med track and I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you so much for being on here as well. And to start off, we're going to start with you're currently a sophomore majoring in
Mhm.
neuroscience and emergency medicine. What inspired you to explore both of these areas at the same time?
Sure. Well, I'll start with the emergency medicine part. So actually, I didn't declare that as a minor until this year. Last semester, I was very interested in just like the EHS curriculum here at GW. And then I got a chance to enroll in a class which was part of the EHS program, which focused on research, how research is done, how it's made, how research projects get put forth, specifically in the emergency department. So my professors were all ER doctors, which was really cool and interesting. And they gave us the opportunity to shadow them during shifts and kind of see how the ER and the ED functioned. So that was very interesting. And just to like branch out from like the neuroscience, the neurosurgery aspirations that I have, I wanted to maybe like explore something different that maybe I would be interested in the future. So that's how I chose my EHS minor. And then the neuroscience minor, which I will probably talk a little bit more about later, is just like for me, I guess since I was a little kid, just reading about the brain, the nervous system, spinal cord, like everything like that, just fascinated me. And the fact that the brain is just such a mysterious like organ we don't know much about yet. So that's why I chose neuroscience because it like helped me like choosing neuroscience in high school, like you're learning all the subjects that everybody's learning. So you really can't hyper focus on a specific study that you want. But in college, you have that freedom to go into a more specific route.
That's wonderful. So you mentioned that your interest in the brain started in middle school after learning about Phineas Gage. Can you tell us more about how that moment shaped your curiosity about neuroscience?
Sure. So when I was in middle school, I had to take a class it was called study skills. And pretty much the basis of the class was how to work on your time management, how to manage your time more wisely. And for some reason, there was a neuro aspect in the class. I don't remember why, but it was pretty interesting how there was some neuroscience into it. And so it was a pretty small class. I really didn't want to be in there because my parents forced me to be in there, just because I didn't have good management skills back then. But anyway, one class, our teacher was like, "We're gonna learn today about this man called Phineas Gage," and so we saw a documentary, and this like helped me into like my neuroscience, like my passion for neuroscience, just because you have this man who suffered this really bad accident with like this metal rod, I think during it when he was building like a train track, if I'm correct, and just like how part of like his ventromedial like prefrontal cortex and also his left prefrontal cortex were just affected by this massive accident. And to me, it was fascinating how, first of all, how he managed to live for over a decade after his accident. Also fascinated me how there's accounts of him how he changed as a person based on his accident, just because that part of the brain was greatly affected from the accident, and just how the brain adapts. I mean, with such an injury where you have like a gap in your brain, but the brain manages to adapt to it is very interesting. So that's where my passion for neuroscience kind of began, and my interest in the brain, as well as during that same period, I got a chance to attend a little tour at the Health Museum here in the DMV, where they had a human brain for like people could like touch and kind of like look around and everything. And that's the moment where I was like, okay, I want to do something related to the brain when I grow up. I don't know yet. Maybe it could be neurology, neurosurgery, who knows, psychiatry, whatever. But that's how it started.
That's amazing to hear. And I know we haven't touched on this yet, but you mentioned how you actually got to observe a real neurosurgery later on. And I'm sure that must have been incredible for you. And how else was that experience like for you?
Yeah, of course. Well, my first semester of my freshman year, I was lucky to have a neurosurgeon let me shadow him here at GW Hospital. It was a long process just because you have to cold email a lot and, just wait for, you got to be patient because, these people are very busy. So I fortunately got the chance for one to reach back to me and invite me to a surgery. But the experience was very great just because it was a chance for me to like look at my future self in a way, just like what I could be doing if I was a surgeon when I grow up. And he told me about how life as a neurosurgeon was, and he was pretty honest, which I appreciated. He was like he enjoys it a lot, but he definitely said there's a lot of stress to it. There's a lot of work, discipline, and resilience to neurosurgery. So an experience for me was very eye-opening just because I got to be in the EOR, with the residents, the anesthesiologists, and the whole team, and the surgeon himself. And I was just standing in a corner, because I can't really do much as an observer, and I don't want to mess anything up or touch anything. So I was standing there for about 9 hours, but I got to see like the tumor and everything, and it was really awesome.
That's wonderful to hear. And 9 hours seems a lot just to be
Yeah.
standing and watching something.
Yeah, it was 9 hours, and I think by the end of those hours, they were about like they had to like remove like the skin,
Mhm.
like the skull, like everything. It was like it's a long process. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've also shared that the journey hasn't been easy and there are days when you've wanted to give up. What keeps you grounded and motivated to keep pushing forward?
Sure. Um, I guess what keeps me motivated in those hard moments, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you, they happen pretty frequently, almost every day, to be honest with you. It's just like looking at my future self. If I give up now, I'm not only giving up on myself, but I'm giving up on like the potential patients I could save in the future, the potential lives I could save in the future. And I'm also giving up on, I guess, my family just because I'm very grateful to be here in the United States. And me not like chasing my dream and just like throwing in the towel and just being like, I'm done is kind of like for me like an insult to my parents just because they've done so much for me. And also to like my future family, I want to be able to provide and have a big family as well. So that keeps me motivated to just push through the difficult times and knowing eventually there's hope for me in the future to hopefully one day become a surgeon.
I think that's amazing, like groundment, I guess,
Yeah.
is the word I'm trying to search for. But I think that's definitely in a field like medicine, I believe there's a
Hmm.
lot of burnout sometimes,
For sure,
and
for sure.
it's amazing that you're still keep on going.
Thank you. Yeah.
And yes. So it seems that you're planning on serving in the military and becoming a neurosurgeon through that. So how do you see that combination of service and medicine coming together in your future career?
Yeah, sure. Well, originally, just to give some background, originally my first choice for college was actually the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis. Um, I got nominated and everything for it. Unfortunately, I got waitlisted and I didn't get in right away. But looking back now, I'm pretty happy that I'm on the civilian route currently, just because it's a kind of a long story and a long process, but pretty much trying to become pre-med through a civilian college compared to a military college, where really they're not focused on the pre-med track people and more on like it's a military school, they're training for combat essentially in different areas. I'm pretty happy that I'm at GW currently. And so for me in the future, I'm hoping to do a scholarship called the HPSP, which applies to the different branches of the military, which is for recent college graduates who are interested in going to medical school to get the scholarship. Then, whatever military branch, in my case, hopefully would be the Navy, they would pay for my medical school. And at the end, I would be a GMO or a general medical officer, which will then prompt me to either become like maybe a flight surgeon and who knows what else and apply for residency. But to connect the service and medicine, I feel like for me, like I genuinely want to serve overseas. Like I want to serve in combat zones, in zones where a lot of people need a lot of help. And I want to help both civilians and military personnel. So everybody around the world. And I genuinely do feel like I have a calling to be deployed if I'm needed. And I am ready to like answer that call and essentially serve my country.
That's
That's so amazing to
wonderful.
hear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I really love that passion of yours as well. So on your platform, you've been really open about discussing fitness and mental
Mhm.
health. What inspired you to start sharing that side of your journey on social media?
Sure. I guess for fitness, I've just for me, not only fitness is a way to maintain a healthy like mindset and just body and everything, just be healthy overall. But for me, fitness is kind of a break from the academics, and from all the stresses pre-med students have. Like, if you look at it, we have a long journey ahead of us, and there is a lot of stress on us, and we have to do a lot of stuff. So for me, that gym journey is for me to like take a break but also improve in different areas. So that's why I'm very open about my fitness and the mental health aspect. I mean, I want to be genuine with my account. Like, I genuinely want to be like, if I'm having a terrible day, I want to share that on social media because I want to be real. Like, I want to show people what the real pre-med life is like, and then what the med student life is like, and what the resident med students like. Like, it's not always going to be, nice and everything's going well, good grades. No, there's going to be days where you're going to fail a test. You're probably going to, I don't know, you're going to lose an internship. You're not going to get something you want. So for that, specifically for the mental health part, and I guess what inspired me, to be honest, there's a lot of creators out there that I've looked that are med students currently, and their journey inspired me. There's this one med student. He is in Colombia right now, and his name's Alex Hernandez. He has, I think, 11K on Insta. He's a very genuine guy, and I really admire his story through college, and now he's in medical school and all he's doing. And it was just very inspiring for him to follow me back, which was great. But those are the type of people who inspired me for sure.
That's amazing to hear. So also on your platform, you've mentioned about being passionate about raising awareness about around body dysmorphia and steroid use among teens. What sparked that passion, and what kind of message do you hope to spread that spread? Oh my gosh! And what kind of message do you hope to spread through your future advocacy work?
Sure. So online, I feel like as someone who's very interested in fitness, you get a lot of fitness content back from the algorithm. And you definitely, I've started to notice and research, you see a lot of young like teens, like in their 14, 15 years old, who are unfortunately on steroid use, and they're not like competitive bodybuilders or they've been training for very little. And so you start to see that and like kind of worry. And I'm pretty sure in the last couple of years, the steroid use among young teenagers from like 14 to 20 has peaked and rised. And I believe a factor of that is due to social media. In social media, you get a lot of unrealistic physiques, for example. You get a lot of people who've been working out a ton, like many years, and have incredible physiques. And then you also have people who are not honest, who they claim they're natural, but they're really not. And so I guess as a young gym like beginner, you see that and you're like, wow, you start to compare yourself, and that's where it becomes a problem. And you're like, I wish I had that physique. How can I attain that physique as fast as possible? And that's where the body dysmorphia comes in, where it's like you look at the mirror and you feel like you're not enough. And it's like it happens to me too. Like for example, I've been training for 2 years, and I look at myself in the mirror, and sometimes I'm like, dang, like I wish I looked better than this. And it really takes a toll on your mental health and how you see yourself online. And sometimes I don't want to post because of my feelings, like because I feel that way. So I definitely want to spark awareness about like to like stop using steroid use among teens, because it's definitely a problem. So I hope I can spread the message of like of like, loving your loving yourself and loving your journey. Like it's gonna take time to build the physique you want, but it's definitely possible and doable.
I really love that. So you also talked about wanting to do a TED Talk on that topic someday. What's one key message that you want the audience to walk away from that talk?
Sure. Yeah, I think one key message would be the consequences of steroid use. To be honest with you, I haven't really researched much about it. I did some research for a paper on my freshman year, but there's a lot of consequences for improper steroid use, and there's a lot of actually bodybuilders who have actually died in recent years from their use of steroids during competitions and everything. So I just want to show the audience the consequences of this possibility of them hopping on steroids instead of staying natural. In my personal opinion, I mean, you can choose whatever you want to do with your own body and whatever you want to take, but I also want to like show people, especially young teenagers, that you like this is dangerous. This can be dangerous if you don't use it well.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And so far it seems like you've achieved a lot already, but
Mhm.
you also mentioned being recently proud on becoming a US citizen after almost 10 years. How was that experience um, that shaped the way you approach your goals and education today?
Mhm. So I guess during that decade of becoming a citizen, it's not it's a journey about patience. It's a journey about patience and resilience and a lot of yeah, like in just overall resilience and patience. And I guess I transfer those like qualities to my academics and goals. Like I want to be a doctor when I grow up. That's a really long journey. It's a journey about patience and about resilience and about coming back from, like just like things you don't like for example, imagine you don't get to med school the first time. Or like you don't get the MCAT score you want, or you don't get into the residency match you wanted. It's about resilience, about, you got to keep going. So I transferred kind of my own journey of becoming a citizen into my academics of being a pre-med in that way. And for me, every setback that is in my life, I see it as a way to grow, whether it be whether it be related to my academics or, medical school in the future or my mental health or my physical health. I just see it as a way to just come back and bounce back.
Yeah, I think it's really important to have that kind of resilience and determination to,
Hmm.
keep pushing forward.
Right.
And finally, to wrap things up, what advice would you give to other students who are working hard toward big dreams, but maybe doubting themselves along the way?
Sure. I guess the best advice I can give is be kind to yourself. Genuinely, like comparison is a thief of joy. Coming from someone that compares themselves a lot to a lot of people, it's important to like take the journey slow and just like worry about yourself, just enjoy the path. And every time you doubt yourself, something that I do is I like to take a break from whatever I'm doing, like when those thoughts started coming, and do something that I enjoy. So for me, that's going to the gym or going on a walk. And then your mind is clear. Because if you try to push through studying or like doing anything academically related to being a pre-med with that mindset, it's going to get worse. So take a break, and then just come back to it for sure.
That's some great advice. Thank you so much. Pablo, we just want to say thank you so much again for sharing your journey and your honesty with us today. Your story is such a reminder that persistence and purpose go hand in hand.
Absolutely. And it is amazing to see how your passion for neuroscience, fitness, and service all come together in such a meaningful way.
And to everyone tuning in, thank you for joining us on this episode of Battles and Voices. Your support means so much to us.
If you enjoyed today's conversation, make sure to follow, share, and stay tuned for more inspiring stories from healthcare leaders and change makers. We'll see you next time.